guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming another tier ranking video. I love doing these, and this one is going to be tier ranking every book I've ever rated 5 stars from when I started tracking on my Goodreads in like 2021. It's about 34, which I don't know, might seem like a lot, but I just know what I like. As you will see in these categories, some of them are definitely not ones that maybe would be 5-star now. Okay, so here we have the tier ranking system. So we have 6-star at the top, which is my very coveted category, which I only put books in after I've sat with a book for like months to decide whether it's going to be a 6-star or not. It is a very esteemed category, okay? And then we have could be a 6-star one day, so I'm still kind of deciding whether this is going to be put in the 6-star category or not. Then we've got a solid 5-star, like I love this book, it's never going to change from a 5-star. It's not quite a 6-star, I don't have that attachment to it as I would a 6-star, but it is amazing and I do still have an attachment to it, just not quite the 6-star level. Then we have could go down on a reread. So this is if I reread it today, then maybe I wouldn't have quite the same feelings about it. I read it then and it was a 5-star then, and what can you do? The last one is don't remember whether it's a 5-star. This is me saying either maybe it could be a 5-star but I don't really remember, or me saying probably if I reread this it wouldn't be a 5-star because I don't really remember it very well. Let's start. First things first, let's get this out of the way. We've got Fourth Wing. That is an obvious 6-star. Nothing is ever pushing that away from a 6-star, because although I do take 6-star very seriously, sometimes I do move books down. I'm trying not to do that because then it wasn't 6-star and in the first place, if it could have been moved down. Fourth Wing, we don't need to discuss it anymore. I talk about it all the time. Then we've got A Court of Wings and Ruin. This one is definitely going to go in could be a 6-star one day. I read it over a year ago now, I think, and I have been sitting with it. I do think it definitely could be a 6-star one day because it is my favourite book in the ACOTAR series. I love the ACOTAR series, so it makes sense that it could be a 6-star one day, but I want to reread it first. We have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is one of my 6-star books, believe it or not. I absolutely love this series. I feel like maybe the last book could have also been a 6-star, but I just wanted to pick one, and so I went with the OG. It's just such a fun, entertaining series. The last book is actually one of the only books to make me actually shed a physical tear. I don't know what it is, but like books and films, I'm not very good at crying at them. I'll get like wet eyes, might feel sad, but like actually tears coming down very, very rarely happens. And so the last book, the ending of that actually did have a tear go down my one tear. In fact, whilst I'm talking about it, we may as well do that now because that is still a 5-star. It could be a 6-star one day. I think I need to reread it. As always, I'm also putting these in order of my favourite, so the ones at the front will be my favourite. Then we've got Anxious People. This one is a solid 5-star. I really enjoyed it. It was really funny. I've really got attached to the characters. I kept wanting to pick up the book all the time. It was just an amazing book and I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't think that's ever going to become a 6-star. I think I have quite the attachment to it as a 6-star. But I mean, never say never, but I don't think it's going to go down. Then we've got Beach Read. If you don't watch my channel, then maybe you don't know. But if this is your first video of mine, then maybe you don't know. If this isn't your first video of mine, I think we all know where this is going, and it is going right at the front of 6-star. It's my favourite book in the world. You may think I don't love another book as much as I love Fourth Wing, but Beach Read is top and it always will be. Like nothing's ever going to overtake it. I love January. January is me. I am January and I love Gus. I don't think I've ever related more to a book in my life, so we don't need to talk about it anymore. I talk about it so often. Then we have Book Lovers. This one I think solid 5-star. I put it just above Anxious People because it's Emily Henry. I love this one so much. I love all Emily Henry so much. I think this maybe sits 3rd in my ranking of Emily Henry's. I love it so much. It's my friend's favourite, so my favourite is Beach Read and my friend's favourite is Book Lovers. It also holds a meaning because of that, because like that is our 2 Emily Henry books. The sister relationship in it is so sweet and I really love it. Next we've got Caraval. Now, this one is a weird one because I absolutely loved the first book of Caraval. Like, I remember a lot of people were saying you just need to read Caraval to get to Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I was expecting not to like it that much, and then I read it and it was a 5-star. I absolutely loved it. I was obsessed with it. I read the other 2 and I was like, oh, I understand now, because I just did not like the other 2. I didn't really like Donatella, and so I didn't like the other 2 books. If they were all just Scarlet, then maybe I would have, but I just didn't really like Donatella. Yeah, I don't think Caraval will ever go down. I think Caraval will always be a 5-star for me. I think it is a solid 5-star for me. I really, really, really had a great time reading it. But yeah, the other ones in the series are not. So then we've got Daisy Jones and the Six. I need to reread this. I don't think it will go down on a reread. I just really want to reread it just to reread it. But yeah, solid 5-star. Such an entertaining book. I've never read a book like it. And I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, like her celebrity series. I've just loved every single book that's been in that series, and I'm so sad it's at an end. I'm interested to see what her new book is like. I'm going to put Daisy Jones and Six as a solid 5-star. Then we've got Dance of Thieves. This one, I've been toying between putting it at a 6-star for a long time, and maybe this is the time to decide that it is a 6-star. I do want to reread it, so I am going to put it on a could be a 6-star one day. I'll put it at the front because I think it definitely is going to be. It's just the perfect mix of romance and fantasy and like world building and characters, and like everything that I love in a fantasy is in the perfect moderation. Like there's a lot of world building, so you feel like you're actually reading a fantasy and it's a really thought out fantasy, but it doesn't bore you, and there's enough romance so that it keeps you reading, because I kind of need a romance sometimes to be interested, but it's not so much that it's like, where's the fantasy gone? And it's not so much where like they're in love straight away and it's just like that. It's just like everything in this book is perfect to me, and I love it so much. Then we have Divine Rivals. This one's definitely a solid 5 stars. Unfortunately, Rufus Vows, the second one, was not a 5-star for me, but the Divine Rival is definitely a solid 5-star. I can't see it going down. I think I'd put it there just before Caraval. I love letters in books, and so I knew I was going to love Divine Rivals because they do like typewriter letters. Then we've got Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is, I think, second on my Emily Henry ranking, so I'm going to put her here. She's a solid 5-star. She's not a 6-star, but she is a solid 5-star. I just thought the way that this book was written, from the start to the end, and how it all rounded up, beautiful. I didn't necessarily really relate to any of the characters, so I'm not as attached to it as Beach Read, and I'll probably never be attached to a book as I am to Beach Read. Then we've got Ghosted. This one was quite a while ago now, and so I'm gonna put it on could go down on a reread just because I need to reread it. I don't think it would go down on a reread. I think it would still be 5 stars because I do remember really enjoying it, but yeah, it was a few years ago now. Sometimes I forget about it. Very sweet. It's very emotional. It's a lot more than like a romance. It's not really a rom-com, it's more of a romance, and it's quite an emotional one. I really liked reading that because it makes a bit of a change. Then we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. I think this one ranks 4th. All of Emily Henry's books are a 5-star. But yeah, I think this one ranks 4th. I just love Emily Henry's books. They're all just going at the front of the solid 5-star. On a reread, this could jump up higher in my Emily Henry rankings. Now that I am in my early 20s, more of the stuff in this book could probably be a bit more relatable than when I read it. But yeah, I'm now 21, and I think when I read it, I was like 18, 19. So maybe in those few years experience I will relate to it a little bit more. Then we've got Ignite Me, which is from the Shatter Me series. It's my only 5-star in the Shatter Me series, but it was so fun. But yeah, it could go down on reread just because I've read a lot more fantasy since then, and I realised that like the Shatter Me series, while it's a very fun fantasy, it's not the most amazing fantasy. It's actually like my first fantasy series. Maybe it wouldn't quite be a 5-star on a reread. Then we have Iron Flame, obviously the second one in the Fourth Wing series. Absolutely loved it. It could be a 6-star one day, but I do want to reread it before because I've actually never reread it. I act like that's a shock, like I would reread a book with that ending. I never want to go through that ending again, so one day I will reread it, and then we'll decide whether it can go up to a 6-star or not. Then we have Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas. Now this one is the last book in the Throne of Glass series. It was actually my only 5-star of the Throne of Glass series, but I think that could change upon rereading Throne of Glass, and I think there could definitely be more from the Throne of Glass series that go up to be a 5-star because a lot was happening, and so it was a bit confusing, and so that kind of took away a little bit from having the 5-star feeling. When you're a little bit like trying to keep up with the book, it can take you away from feeling of like speeding through a book, never wanting to put it down when it's quite hard to understand, and sometimes that makes you put it down more because it takes quite a lot of brain power to read. But I think on a reread, now that I know mostly what was going on, more would be 5 stars. I just think Kingdom of Ash could not be anything less than a 5-star. Even if I didn't absolutely love the Throne of Glass series, there is no taking away from the fact that she wrote a masterpiece there, because the way that it ties in things from the very first book, from even the prequel, and she ties everything in Kingdom of Ash, is just amazing. Like, it's honestly amazing. I think I put it at the front. I think maybe one day it could go up to the could be a 6-star category, and then maybe one day it will actually go up to the 6-star category. But yeah, right now it's just a solid 5-star. Then we've got Love in Other Words. Again, I haven't read this one in a very long time. I guess it could go down on a reread. The amount that I loved it at the time, I don't think it would go down. I think it would stay at a 5-star even when I reread it. So I will put it in a solid 5-star. Pop it on the end because I don't remember a crazy amount about it, but I definitely do want to reread it. Then we have Normal People by Sally Rooney. I love Normal People so much. I do prefer the show to the book though, so it's definitely not a 6-star, but it's definitely a solid 5-star. I don't think it's ever going down. I love those characters so much. Probably there. Then we have Onyx Storm. Again, same thing with Iron Flame. It could be a 6-star one day. I want to reread it. I don't want to reread that ending. I will reread it one day and then we will decide. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Love, love, love. Don't think it will ever be a 6-star, but for a rom-com, I love it so much. It's definitely a very emotional one. Again, there's a lot that happens in it. Accidental pregnancy, that's not a spoiler, that is the whole plot. The disabilities and how Wyn is scared to become a mum because of her disabilities, and she's scared that will make her less of a mum. It's just a very, very emotional book and I just loved it. I'd put it there. Then we have Powerless and Reckless. I'll do these both at the same time. Solid 5-star. I don't know if they're ever going to be 6-star. I love them so much. I don't think they're my favourite fantasies, but I do really, really, really love them. I just filmed a load of those books and then I realised my camera. I don't know if it was never recording or if it just lost all the footage. Is it now recording? I can't remember what books I did or didn't do, but I was on Powerless and Reckless. I said that it's not my favourite fantasy in the world, but I did really enjoy it. Even though a lot of people didn't enjoy Reckless, I personally did. Ballad of Never After, I think. I just think that it was very whimsical and fun, so I put that there. I don't think it's ever going to go up to a 6-star. And then I did Flatshare, which I said is just a very nostalgic one for me because it's one of the first books that I read when I was getting back into reading, so that's definitely always going to be a 5-star. Bride Test, I think, which I don't remember why that was a 5-star. I just remember I enjoyed it at the time. I don't really feel any pull to reread it. The Night Circus, which I have as a 6-star, it's definitely one of those 6-stars I'm a little bit unsure of, just because I've never reread it and I've reread the rest of the 6-stars. When I read it, it was definitely a 6-star, and I do remember it being a 6-star, and I remember it being amazing and amazingly written and very gripping, and I remember it taking me fully out of the real world, which is very hard. As I was saying, like, my brain is very alert at all times, so anything that can actually make me forget that the real world is crazy, because that just doesn't really happen for me. I'm sorry if I've missed any. I can't remember which ones I did and which ones I didn't when the camera was off. Then we have The No-Show, which I put in could go down on a reread just because I think I rated it that much, because it was such like a shocking ending and so unlike any other romance I ever read. I think that ending kind of made it a 5-star, but maybe if I reread it now knowing what was going to happen, the plot of it and the characters of it and everything else wasn't 5-star worthy, so maybe it could go down on a reread. Then we have The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary, which I remember really loving, but I do definitely need to reread it. I don't think it would go down on a reread just because I remember loving it so much, but yeah, I do definitely need to reread it. Then we have Foul Thieves, which is the same as Dance of Thieves. It could be a 6-star one day, but I'm just sitting on it, but I liked these the exact same amount. Probably if one of them goes up to a 6-star, they'll both go up to a 6-star. Then we have You and Me on Vacation, or People with Me on Vacation by Emily Henry, which was her first romance novel, and this one is probably my least favourite, but still a 5-star, and it's never going down from a 5-star. It's Emily Henry. I still really enjoyed it. We put this here just behind Happy Place. I just think that compared to the rest of them, it's a little bit more surface level, focused on the romance, whereas other Emily Henry books kind of have a bit more going on in the background and a bit more of like a subplot going on, which I think gives it more substance. Then we have You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Holgall. I love this book. Have I reread it? I'm not sure if I've reread it, but I know it's definitely never going down from a 5-star. Again, it's very different to any other romance I've ever read because they're not like getting together in the romance, they're already together. It's just about them kind of falling back in love with each other again. So that one's definitely a solid 5-star, and I'd put that one there behind Happy Place. The Wicked King by Holly Black, which is the second one in The Cruel Prince, and then we have The Queen of Nothing as well as the last two. Third one in The Cruel Prince. Queen of Nothing is definitely a solid 5-star. I really enjoyed it. I really love Jude. I love Carden, and I love Holly Black's writing, and I just love this whole series. It's definitely different from any other fantasy I've ever read. There. And then The Wicked King, which is the last book we have to rank, I think could be a 6-star one day. I'll put that on the end of that one. As I said, I enjoy the characters and the plot and everything, but also the ending was so shocking in that one, and I read it in like 2 days because I did not want to put it down, at all. I loved it that much. I just did not want to put it down, and that's when you know a book is good. So I think one day that could be a 6-star. And that is my finished ranking of all my 5-star books. Obviously my favourite book is Beach Read. Sorry this video was a bit of a mess. I don't know what was happening with my camera. Sometimes it was filming, sometimes it wasn't. But at the end of this video we made it finally, and hopefully I can edit this into something a bit more coherent. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. You can subscribe down below and then turn on the bell and you'll be notified every time I upload. If you want to, you can follow my social medias at _libraryofeden on both Instagram and TikTok, and I will see you in my next video very, very soon.